Audio should be alright. Is it alright? Wait, do we need more gain or something? How much is talking too softly? Never do updates to software. Well, I just did. Filters, noise. We have noise suppression. I have gain. Probably don't need a gain. I don't know why it's so. I'll just choose a different microphone. Is that better? That should be better. That should be better. Okay, anyhow, let me know if the audio is okay or not. Okay, we'll turn off the feedback. Yeah, this is a web application. One of the AI models made, like, I don't remember when, long time ago. So it's that they improved much by now. Yeah, so yeah, you can go check it out. The way it looks now, we'll be improving it moving forward. It's a gate cycle simulator. Gate cycle simulator. We also currently heavily relying on Notebook LM at the moment. Actually, give it this paper someone brought to our attention. Oops. Notebook LM. Do we have a space for another? No, we cannot create a new notebook because we have too many already. Some of the older ones only have one resource. Let's just check this one. I don't know what that text is from. Yeah, we have a bunch of I don't know why they don't have text, voice to speech, voice to text. We'll have to use something else for it. What can we use? Can actually just use the chat we have in Visual Studio Code. Don't know if it shouldn't be sending. For this simulation thing, for this description, do we have a website that is mentioned in the text? Yeah, we'll just copy it because yeah, just asking about the source. So that's Notebook LM. We'll start some research with it. And hopefully start making some simulations as well. Do you think we live in a simulation? Okay, can we actually search BioniChaos platform, find any neuroscience tools? Yeah, we'll try it. Yeah, I don't actually know where the text is coming from, so I don't know if we could just delete that. Search the web. Search BioniChaos.com. I will do neuroscience tools, but the brain mapping. We'll add this paper to it in a sec. Hopefully it will start making more sense. Well, actually, we'll get the AI to explain what are we doing. There is a kind of rough idea. Yeah, just so you know, everything we do is available on BioniChaos.com. Go check it out. Provide your feedback. Now, does anyone knows what's enhancer AAV neuroscience? There's a bunch of papers on it. We'll look at this specific one. To know, can it load directly? Not sure if it can load the paper. Okay, so it's found some. No, remove that. Students, no. Yeah, we'll import a bunch of tools from BioniChaos.com. We'll actually remove one of the earlier sources. Yeah, I'm not sure if it can do the PDF. Just a moment. Is it doing the PDF? Not actually sure. Keep saying just a moment. We need to download the PDF ourselves. Okay, let's do it. I think it might be getting blocked, maybe. So notebook LM. There's apparently a bunch of patents associated with it as well. I keep saying just a moment for. Yeah, it's doing like security verification, blah blah blah. Waiting for bioarchive to respond. Essentially means it's blocking it. Okay, we'll remove that source. We'll add the PDF. Oops. Yeah, so we added the PDF. Let's see. I don't know if it will be able to find the associated papers. What if I deselect? Sorry, I don't want to show you Notebook 11. You know what it looks like. But wait, what? That's weird. That's weird. Is there a way to clear? Ooh, delete chat history, yes. I will delete an audio generated. How do I just look at one of the sources? Okay, we'll delete that one. Yeah, so we have yeah, I'll ignore that gate analysis for now. Some image processing, image compression, yeah, check those out. We did a review on them a while back. If you need another review, we're more than happy to do it. But now we kind of want to just focus on neurological stuff. So we had this brain microphone. We might use it for that brain model. We're gonna be using that brain model a lot. Want to? Yes, that's just mapping your microphone to the brain. Go check it out. Um, do, 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 do. Yeah, that EG data visualization can go for now. Yeah, there's a lot of bad stuff on the site from a while back that we might eventually be getting rid of. No, we won't be getting rid of. We'll be essentially taking these tools and giving the link to a bot, trying to make it better. But yeah, from the notebook LM review, it can go. Yeah, there was some visualizations based on different papers, but yeah, somewhat overly complicated. Yeah, we had this neuron simulator, was pretty decent. There's kind of not much point to it. I mean, you can map it to the microphone. You can map it to the microphone as well, see what it does. And see what it does. For now, the question is, do we... Yeah, we'll leave it. Seizure zone is also interesting one. It's using the same model. Yeah, it's using the same model for the brain. This is a more kind of scientifically accurate stuff. I can go over it if you like. We have some videos on it as well. Okay, so we'll keep those tools. I had a third. Yeah, I don't know, that's just a block or something. We'll remove it for now. Hey, we'll add the mic brain as well. Not sure. It's funny that you can't just talk to the thing. I want to focus on that paper. Hey, let's do, what can we generate quickly? We can do infographic and a quiz. We can do a mind map. Mind maps are really good. Let's do a slide deck as well. I think it's fairly quick. But we'll wait with the video and the audio. We'll wait a sec. Yeah, I'm curious about the paper. Curious about this paper. Wait a sec. Okay, so curious about the paper. Can you just explain it briefly? But focus on the behavioral aspects of what was done to the animal subjects. in the paper. I don't know, should we do? Yeah, the video. Let's do a quick, we'll do short, a deep dive brief critique database. Critique is obviously better for experimental methodology. Explain the specific behavioral task used in the test. Was it test dopamine neuron function? Describe how this behavioral observations relate to injection strategies used. Yeah, I don't know. We'll try that critique. Let's do a quiz real quick. Everyone loves a quiz. Ooh. What's the primary purpose of developing this enhanced AV tool described in the research paper? Well, you have AV in the question, so assume the first one would just be incorrect because it's a bad answer, because the answer has the jargon from the question, so just assume that's incorrect. To selectively target and manipulate midbrain dopaminergic neurons across species without transgenic lines. To map the entire marmoset genome? No. To provide... Yeah, marmosets are used a lot in vocalization studies, so I'm wondering if where did it take the vocalization from, or if the paper is about that. To provide clinical diagnostic to detecting Parkinson's? No, so I think it's B. Yeah. The study focuses on using single nucleus multiomic profiling to identify enhances that allow genetic access to DA neurons in wild type mice and marmosets. I don't know why they use two types of species. Okay, why did researchers include tandem chicken? Hypersensitive side for can I just guess? Sequence in the next generation AAV backbones to serve as fluorescent reporter. The question, okay, we're not gonna. Wait a sec. Got some better things to do. Neuronal map. Still generating the slide deck. Yeah, the quiz is too much for us. We can do an easy one. We'll do standard, fewer questions, easy level. Let's look at the mind map. Okay, we have advanced neuroscience tools, enhanced AV toolbox, vector engineering development. I don't know what that is. I don't know. Can it run you through like a course on it? I'm sure it can. We like engineering, but we don't understand. Can be just explained without the terminology. I wonder what. Yeah, what's the link to BioniChaos visualization platform? Yeah, they're kind of not related really at the moment. At the moment, this is correct. Yeah, that's that brain model. Yeah, we're using a lot of JavaScript, audio API as well. Okay, the mind map is not super useful at the moment. Now the audio, sometimes it lets you do the interactive mode, but not this time. And where's the second quiz? Is the second quiz much simpler? Let's do the review. Yeah, I'll scroll through the paper while doing that. I'll just scroll through the images. There's a marmoset, there's a mouse. That's as far as I can tell. The marmoset is getting something injected into the brain. It's crazy. Let's listen to this review. So that's Notebook LM should be doing a review on this paper. Wait. It's a good idea to unmute, isn't it? And can we change the speed? No. What? Why? Let's pop it in the browser.
Welcome to the critique. Today we're looking at a novel enhancer AAV toolbox for targeting midbrain dopamine neurons across species, validating these tools through mouse behavioral assays like head-fixed locomotion and optogenetic self-stimulation. So let's dive straight into how these behavioral tests are framed.
Right. The treadmill and air puff experiments effectively validate the recording tool, but the behavioral framing could really better account for the animal's shifting internal states over time.
Because right now, the mice are head-fixed on a self-driven treadmill to measure spontaneous movement. And then, they're hit with unexpected air puffs. The methodology tracks that locomotion and those reactions as completely isolated.
What time is it?
Oops, sorry for that. We'll unwind it a bit.
Terminal activity.
Exactly. To really understand the data, we need to integrate a temporal analysis of behavioral habituation across these repeated sessions.
Right, rather than limiting the scope to pure movement kinematics, we should rigorously link the recorded dopamine transients to the subject's evolving cognitive states.
It's kind of like watching someone sprint on a treadmill through a gym window. You perfectly capture the kinematic movements of running.
But you have no idea why they're running.
That's one way to do it, yeah. Without knowing if they are, like, pushing for a personal best or if they're terrified because a fire alarm just went off. You capture the motion but miss the motivation. So, how do we capture that shifting internal state in the data? Are we talking about breaking down the 30-minute block into smaller chunks?
That's one way to do it, yeah. For example, you could plot the baseline calcium signals from the central striatum over the full 30-minute session.
Okay, so that visualizes whether that novelty-induced dopamine naturally fades as the mouse tires out.
Exactly. Alternatively, you could compare the area under the curve of the air puff responses between the first and ninth trials. This quantifies whether the dopamine salient signal actually drops off as the animal learns to predict the puff.
Oh, that makes sense.
And you know, just as recording behavior requires understanding an animal's dynamic internal state, manipulating behavior should test the complex limits of those states, rather than just relying on binary outputs.
Which brings us to the optogenetic nose poke assay. It robustly proves the viral tool functions in vivo, yet it relies on a highly conventional behavioral paradigm that leaves the tool's full physiological potential completely untapped.
Yeah, using a basic active versus inactive port self-stimulation task successfully confirms reward pathway activation. However, it fails to behaviorally differentiate the fidelity of this new enhancer AAV tool from what standard transgenic rodent models already achieved like over a decade ago.
Well, let me play devil's advocate here for a second. A simple nose poke test is the gold standard for a reason. I mean, it's clean and it works. Why should the author complicate their assay if the primary goal is just to show the AAV tool successfully turns the pathway on?
Because simply turning the pathway on isn't the true innovation of this paper. The extreme specificity of this interspecies targeting approach is. We should elevate the behavioral paradigm by introducing a subtle motivational challenge that demands highly nuanced dopamine release.
Right, and doing so proves the tool's specific physiological accuracy, not just its basic functionality.
Exactly.
Okay, so we need to push the mouse harder to see the limits of the viral tool. What does that actually look like? Do we make them run a complex maze first, or?
A more direct adjustment is implementing a progressive ratio schedule instead of a simple fixed ratio task.
Oh, so instead of giving the mouse a reward every single time they poke their nose, make them work progressively harder for it.
Yeah, make them poke twice, then 5 times, then 10 times. By finding their breakpoint, the exact moment they give up, we measure the absolute limit of motivation this tool can drive.
Wait, really? Oh, I see. You're measuring the actual depth of the drive, not just confirming that the drive exists.
Precisely. You could also introduce a punishment component, like a mild air puff paired with the active port.
Oh, wow. So that forces the mouse to weigh the reward against an aversive stimulus?
Right, which lets us evaluate how this specific viral targeting mediates complex, conflicting behavioral drives.
That is super interesting. To summarize, the viral engineering presented here is incredibly robust, but the behavioral assays used to validate the tools can be pushed further to match that level of innovation.
Definitely. By tracking habituation metrics over time during photometry and implementing progressive ratio schedules or punishment components during optogenetics, the behavioral data will be as cutting edge as the genetic tools themselves.
Yeah. We'd love to see where this goes, so please submit your revised material back in for another critique.
Yeah, we had to do a simple explainer first, didn't we? But I was just thinking if we could do a simulation of a behavioral study like that with a mouse on a treadmill, but essentially studying its motivation and stuff, and then having a sort of treatment. So the behavioral study meant to be standard. I wish there was not wish there is a voice model that can view the screen as well. Or should we continue with Notebook and Lamp? Ah, no, mixing in. It's not a bad image though. Yeah, it's mixing in. The brain probably should have used something like that as a. They're pretty cool at these things. We should have used it as a thumbnail description of the tool. It's actually pretty accurate. It's pretty good. Could probably remove the text there as well. So it's obviously just generated it. They didn't take it from anywhere. It's very specific to. Can download the. Do we download it as a PDF? I can't download it as an image. I don't get it. If I download as a PowerPoint, I can extract the images out of it, can I? Let's do PDF first. That's extracting images from the paper as well. Yeah, I'm not sure if the whole slide deck makes any sense whatsoever. Mapping the mind across scales from precision genetic targeting to interactive 3D visualizations. Okay. There's a lot of like random lines there. That doesn't make sense. A modern neuroscience portfolio, wet lab. Yeah, that's what the paper does. Dry lab, digital simulation. Why is it a dry lab? Transforming dense functional and anatomical data into interactive 3D conceptual sandboxes. Yeah, that's the stuff we have. There's free tools. Go check them out to accelerate scientific education and communication. Molecular target, blah blah blah, system behavior mapping. Nah. Yeah, it's kind of indicating some sort of hierarchy. It's not necessarily there between molecular, cellular, and system/behavioral. With the paper, one of the big questions: could you like simulate the? Could you simulate the results? Could you simulate those results? It's not specifying where is it taking the images from. The macro challenge mapping function to form the biological ground truth, to have wet lab, the educational gap, the digital solution. Yeah, this one was pretty good. It's nothing to do with the paper though, it's to do with our tool. I don't know, in this second case, the actual tool is better than this slide. But this one is not bad at all. Probably. Well, actually, the tool itself should have looked like this. The tool itself should have looked like that. So essentially it suggests a more visualization here on the sound, because currently you can only you can test it with your microphone. Yeah, when you do different frequencies, they map to different regions of the brain. I mean, it is in the description, but it's not obvious from the tool itself. So obviously something like this will be a better user interface, which will tell you which will have a frequency domain and then show you how it's mapped to the different regions of the brain. So some sort of demo like that, I don't know. On the other hand, it might get too dense if you actually implement it in as a tool. Currently it's nice and simple and works. But yeah, but then I'm not sure if the user would realize how the mapping is working. How is the mapping working? But yeah, with seizure zone, I mean, the thing we have on screen is actually very similar to what it reproduced in the slide. And actually, this is probably the tool itself is actually better. The innovation stack, yeah, that's nonsense. No, it makes sense. The visualization is nonsensical. The visualization is nonsensical. Okay, and what else Notebook LM have made? What else did it do? Yeah, it's also generated infographic like this based on a paper. I think I asked it just to focus on the paper, so yeah, it didn't mix in the BioniChaos stuff. High precision AV toolkit for dopamine neuron targeting. This next generation enhancer AV toolkit achieves yeah, it's all that language that's just taken from the paper. We need some sort of more basic review on it. Can it like review it in engineering terms? We can better understand. I don't know. We didn't do a video. Yeah, there's no point. The video will be bad. The video will be very bad. Unless. What's the prompts for the video explainer? Yeah, I'll do explainer. What should we target? Yeah, it's fun. It's interesting. It's taking this prompt suggestions from the source, which is really good. Present this live report and compare labeling specificity. Yeah, but you will probably need to explain specificity, or are we assuming we know what specificity is? Clinical application. Explain the significance of these genetic tools for researching Parkinson's and addiction. Describe the methodology for designing this generation. Yeah, let's do the... Should we do a brief? Let's do a brief. A brief. Do auto select. We'll generate a video explaining this paper. We just selected the one source. We removed the other BioniChaos stuff. By the way, if you want to map music to this thing, you probably can. It's just I can't do it because most music is copyrighted. But you can just go to BioniChaos.com/micbrain and play it your own music, see how that digital brain responds to it. Yes, different frequencies mapped to different parts of the brain. You can test it yourself. Yeah, if you visited the website and have any questions, do let me know. Any feedback, complaints are more than welcome. But they have to be relevant to the content on the site or any. We have an ideas. Yeah, we have an ideas page. So if you want to contribute to that as well, you can. More than welcome to. We will turn it into a prompt and give it to whatever bots we have access to. And see what they can do and turn it into a visualization, into interactive something. Yeah, so make BioniChaos, so make this website, go check it out, provide your feedback. We'll turn your feedback into prompts. Give it to any code generating agent that we have access to, see what it can do. What else? Yeah, we're doing this mic brain. We're thinking that paper that we're reviewing, yeah, Notebook LM meant to generate a video. Notebook LM takes forever to generate something. It's actually finished. Download that video, play it in the browser. Supposedly, we own copyright for it. Supposedly, allegedly. Figuratively, we'll play the video and we'll go from there. I haven't seen it before, so if the AI says something stupid, they where to complain, who to complain to. It's a Google product. So send your email to any Gmail. You can send your complaint to any Gmail and it will reach Google. Okay, someone is asking, what are you saying about AI? I've been only talking and using it for 3 years, so we don't want to talk about it. I don't think anyone knows how it actually works. Currently, we're testing Notebook LM, so we gave it this paper. It gave us a nice video overview. Yes, some of the graphics are made up. Interestingly, then, which is yes plagiarism, but again, complain to Google, send a complaint to any Gmail account, Google will receive it. A Notebook LM with generating a video, it's actually sometimes, we'll see if it's happening again in this video, it's sometimes taking a content from the paper and putting it in the video without the source, without indicating where the graphics or the image was taken from. So that's interesting. So obviously they will fix it once, I don't know, once they see this video, hopefully, I'm sure. But yeah, let's just check it out quickly. I don't know if I should comment along. It's only 2 minutes, so I might just comment along at the... And pop your comments in the chat. Like, subscribe, you know what to do. Mainly after your meaningful, smart, highly relevant comments.
Let's dive into a massive neuroscience leap. We're talking about a true genetic master key for Parkinson's and addiction.
So, what actually connects Parkinson's and addiction? Crazy enough, these two devastating conditions share a totally surprising root cause.
It's dopamine. When this crucial neurotransmitter acts up, it totally wrecks both movement and motivation. But studying these cells used to be brutal. The old transgenic mice actually altered normal brain function. Yeah, those older methods were seriously flawed. They messed with proteins and were almost impossible to use in primates. Well, enter the breakthrough, the CJD8E8 enhancer AAV. It's a next-gen viral delivery system, and it's a game changer. Think of it like a master key. It flawlessly unlocks only dopamine neurons, leaving the natural genome completely untouched. And get this, it hits an absolutely unprecedented 90 to 95% precision rate for targeting those exact neurons. Even better, this master key works beautifully across wild-type species. We're talking a straight shot from mice to marmosets. This insane precision finally lets scientists isolate the exact, totally separate brain pathways for movement and reward. So what does this actually mean for research? It means rewiring and recording live active brains in real time. Researchers just deliver the master key, lock onto specific dopamine cells, and directly stimulate or record the live behavior. For example, they saw central striatum neurons literally go wild in response to a surprising little air puff. And on treadmills, totally opposing signals. Dorsolateral activity went up with speed, but central striatum activity actually dropped. They even used light to rewire the reward circuit, triggering intense, addiction-like self-stimulation right there in the brain. For the very first time, we've got an insanely accurate tool to study completely natural, unaltered brain function. This is massive. Perfect disease modeling speeds up translation, fast-tracking our hunt for actual Parkinson's and addiction cures. Now that we're holding this incredible genetic master key, what hidden mysteries of the human mind are we going to unlock next?
That wasn't great, was it? Meant to do a brief on the paper. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, it's hard to gauge. Like a paper, that tool that says it's going to revolutionize everything. Well, apparently it's like the technology is now patented. Well, that specific tool, so it might never see the light of day. Apparently, the patent's owned by MIT or something. So yeah. Yeah, probably this kind of stuff comes out of academia on like a daily or weekly basis. But it's interesting now that they patenting everything. That's probably been happening for a while. Everything gets patented because everyone wants return on investment. Well, because even government grants, whatever, are given, not given just for the sake of doing research. It's just want to make money. Money, 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 money. It's crazy. Yes, I'm not sure if we need another notebook LM review or something, or it meant to just do the clinical need review. You can see the, no, you cannot see. Sometimes you're able to see the prompt, the original prompt used for the content generation, but now I don't see it. Wait, sometimes there's like a revise button. I can actually revise the slides. Okay. Can you actually do it? Improve the graphics? I'm not sure if you can do it. Let's remove the red lines. Generate. So it's generating. But yeah, while it's generating, everything we do is available on BioniChaos.com. Go check out this site, provide your feedback, join the stream. Well, what do you know? It actually did it. It's actually removed the red lines. Well, I didn't improve it by much. Yeah, I don't think it's worth showing. Yeah, out of the whole slide deck, it made yeah, one slide was pretty good. So we're still fighting with Notebook LM while trying to see what it can do. It's probably I'll blame it on the paper. I'll blame the paper for being like too complicated. What is AAV vectors? Search. I'm interested in that like simulation of the behavioral study. What do you think? There's some like basic explainers on it. Yeah, they kind of threw a kitchen sink at this study. There's everything there under the sun. Yeah, they're doing head fixed treadmill sessions to study the brain. How about the marmoset? Why did they use this too? Obviously, they've been using it for other things. Just really wonder, just really wonder if it can turn a figure, like a paper figure, into a simulation. We'll actually explain. It's the short. Yeah, I was wondering why the specific animal species were used. Hey, can you explain the behavioral study and why the two different species were used in this research? We'll do a brief audio. And we want any ideas for a simulation out of this paper? Interactive standalone JavaScript simulation. Do you have any ideas? Yeah, I'll pop it into a text prompt, but then also do let's do a slide deck on that one. So we make simulation games like literally what you currently see on the screen. You can try them all out yourself. Everything do is eventually deployed and available for you for free on BioniChaos.com. Go check it out. And don't know if we can show. No, we cannot show that one because my camera is being used elsewhere. It's a bit annoying. Yeah, we're thinking actually a web application that takes your camera. I can probably show it in there as well. Wait, I just need a different browser. Where's my Chrome? Chrome is also loading ads, so we get rid of them. 1 sec. Yeah, so if you look at this tool, it actually can determine your. Wait a sec. We'll load this. Yep. Yeah, so this tool, for example, is checking your heart rate using your web camera. But I was also thinking doing the same one that could check how many drinks you had. So for example, if you're talking to a drunk person, could actually estimate probably pupil dilation, a combination of heart rate, pupil dilation, and respiration rate. You could probably determine how many drinks one had. I mean, on the other hand, you could just do speech analysis. You can do semantics, which we actually have a tool for as well, interestingly enough. But yeah. So I just realized that this thing, the camera is way too dark for it to determine anything. I thought there would be still variations in skin tone that could be picked up even in the darkness, but no, apparently that's not the case. Yeah, I'll close that for a sec because I cannot change my camera settings at the moment. So it gets my CPU going. What were we doing? We're actually doing something in Notebook LM. Actually having more interesting conversations with AI because they're not so eager to tell you how many drinks they had and what's happening with their hair, when was the last time they had a bath or something like that. They just do their job. How good is that? So we go, yeah, so we had the paper that we were reviewing. Well, not we didn't actually read it. We did look at the figures. But we'll have a notebook. We'll have a notebook LM doing a review. Sometimes the review, I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know if it's intentional or not. Sometimes the audio has this interactive mode in it. Sometimes, some other times it does not. Anyway, we gave it the PDF. Just the PDF. What was the prompt? Got the prompt already. It doesn't show it to you as well. Other times it did show you what was the original prompt, which is weird. They keep changing stuff. That's fine. Yeah, I'll just this. Wait, have to to unmute the thing. Make sure the other thing is muted.
This is the brief on cross-species dopamine targeting.
Yeah, I
So
have no idea why
researchers
they
literally
used
just
to
revolutionized how we
animal
study
species.
brain reward circuits by developing a viral tool that selectively targets dopamine neurons without even needing genetically modified
Viral, by the way, means not like social media viral. It means virals in virology.
animals. First, let's look at why they tested this on both mice and marmosets.
Yeah,
Well,
no idea.
genetically engineering primates is incredibly slow and expensive, especially since marmosets take a year and a half just to mature. Mice, though, are great for rapid testing.
Yeah, mice
By
are great
creating
for
a virus
testing.
that works in completely unmodified animals, they bypassed all that expensive transgenic breeding. Think of this viral enhancer called CJDE8 as a universal skeleton key that effortlessly opens both a highly complex bank vault, the marmoset brain, and a standard padlock, the mouse brain. Second, they needed to prove this key could actually control behavior in a live animal. They used the virus to deliver a light-activated protein right into a mouse's VT.
The key is some sort of genetic modification.
Which is basically the brain's main dopamine center. Then, they put the mice in a chamber where poking a port fired a 2-second laser pulse straight into those exact neurons. Since the VTA is
I like it how we're like testing something basic, and then next thing you know it, you have the subject with the head locked, with the brain probed, and firing like laser into their brain. I was like, how did you get from whatever you were trying to solve, like Parkinson's, whatever? Well, obviously that's why you're doing it in an animal subject, fine. But it's still far-fetched because it will never translate back into human.
the brain's ultimate reward center, if you give a mouse a literal button to trigger its own dopamine, what do you think happens? Finally,
Yeah, what do you think happens? If you give a human alcohol, ad lib alcohol, say you have after work party and you give them ad lib alcohol, well, guess what will happen? You will get I don't know, normal distribution. Half will pass out, whatever, 10% will pass out, 10% would not drink, and everything in between. But yeah.
the results were absolutely wild. Mice with the active virus rapidly escalated their nose pokes, maxing out at 180 stimulations per session, while the control group completely ignored the ports. This
Yeah, so they essentially got the mice addicted to dopamine. So they had this chamber, yeah, this one. They had the light, active, and active. They were stimulating the brain. Where's the delivery of? They were delivering laser. How did that relevant to dopamine? How did dopamine was actually delivered? I have no idea. If you think of the reason why nobody reads papers, is because they look like this. So we will try and hopefully turn it into something, into a simulation, whatever. I'm sure Notebook will have. So currently you can do like audio review, video. You can do video. The videos are, yeah, okay-ish. Audio is actually pretty good. Slide decks are pretty decent. Haven't tried reports. Flashcards is for like training. The quiz was good. Should we do another quiz? Can we do like a critical quiz? Can we not use any terminology in the quiz? Let's do that. Can you not use any technical terms in the quiz? Only use like engineering terms if you must. Let's try another quiz. Yeah, the quizzes are pretty good. The brain maps are pretty decent. We did one where I included my own tools as well, but that was kind of nonsensical. Not use technical terms. Let's use it for the brain map as well. And we haven't finished the audio. Anyway, so they put it in the chamber. I don't know how they were delivering dopamine. I was suggesting that the laser stimulation will induce dopamine or something. I assume so. Hey, give me a sec. Sorry, were you still talking? Were you still talking all this time?
I don't know. I'm trying to have a conversation. Just trying to it's part of my personality is I'm listening and just
Yeah, getting consent from a drunk person is really difficult, right? Because you currently have someone who's asking, potentially, I don't know, asking good questions. I don't know how many drinks they had. Potentially asking like good questions and stuff, but getting consent from them is impossible because they consumed, they're under the influence of alcohol, whatever, abuse. so same here. I don't want to abuse. I can hear them in my ear, whatever. It's like a producer, like having a producer in my ear. Are there any questions in the chat now? Yeah, great idea is to try again when sober. So I'll mute you for a sec. Yep. Yeah, so what were you doing? This paper. Yeah, this paper. And we haven't finished the, let's unwind a few 10, 20 seconds back. This paper is pretty annoying. But obviously, it's a preprint, but it doesn't matter. We don't judge. But yeah, it was not accepted for publication. Interesting. I was like talking to one of the authors. They're actually trying to raise funds, but then they're saying that. So essentially, that they have a problem with this specifically with this paper, and I think in academia these days in general, is that everything is being commercialized. So MIT in this case is holding the ownership for the patent that came out of it. So that's the main reason why this thing will never see a light of day, is because, well, yeah, I was talking to, I think, the first author. Yeah, they're raising funds. They are an inventor on a patent, but the patent owned by MIT. Obviously, MIT have gazillions of funds that they could have just invested into this and brought it like to market or whatever in no time. But they're not gonna do that because they have some better things to do. Well, so either because it's not actually revolutionary, because it was somebody's PhD, whatever, and they did bugger all. Hope not. Hope they actually did a great job, of course. But anyway, most of the time it's just not gonna translate it into humans because of all the things they did with. What are they trying to treat like Parkinson's and addiction with gene therapy, essentially. That's all you need to know. Then they went into all this. So you know how something doesn't work if you had to make it like so complicated. How complicated do you have to make something? Like you're just trying to prove that like a basic gene therapy cures Parkinson's. Well, just do it. Especially if you're MIT, you could probably like put some $100 million on it and show that it's working. But no, they're doing this like complicated trials. That's totally nonsensical. Anyway, I'll finish the audio. It's crazy.
yeah.
Yeah, so we're live streaming at the moment. We potentially, so we're reviewing this paper, but then someone said, Well, they're not a mouse. I don't know if that person is a mouse. Are you a mouse?
No, I'm not.
No, it's not a mouse. Are you a marmoset? Because for whatever reason they use
I'm
it.
not. I am a. What are we? Homo sapien.
What are we? It's if you needed to ask, you're doing great.
Yeah.
Yeah, because for some reason for this study they use mice and marmosets without, but also we have a human for now, and apparently we're like in different clinical trials for mental disorders.
Yes, mostly depression
Right,
and ADHD. I have a history of alcoholism in my family,
right,
uh, which typically go hand in hand in my experience.
right.
Uh,
So you were a
but I
mouse. You were a mouse in a trial.
I was a mouse for a little bit. Yeah.
It's fine because the trials. I don't know if the trials are related to other like because you know how you're not allowed to participate in multiple trials at the same time because the drugs
Correct.
can yeah. So you did it like consecutively over several years or
I did it. I started early I was early for me, but it would be the late 1990s is when I started trying different drugs and treatments to help with anger, depression, and then eventually ADHD. All of them had terrible side effects for me, all the way into my 30s,
yeah,
which
but
I'm
that's the
in
thing. You're
now.
talking about like
Yeah.
gazillion of variables already. If you were to
Yeah,
conduct
there's
a
a ton of
study,
variables.
yeah, you
I,
would
I don't
just
have a paper like this
no, no,
to give you.
but
Yeah.
but this is an example of where a study goes totally wrong. I'm not specifically like an expert in this. I did some behavioral studies and whatever, but where they're testing like gazillion of things. And in your case as well, if you have like multiple,
Mhm.
potentially like multiple disorders, addictions, so on and so forth, then you have like multiple drugs that you've probably been taking, and then you have all the what's called the multiplication of the effects, overlaying on top of one another.
You're exactly right. In my experience, that is exactly what happened to me.
What do you
So
mean in
many
your
people.
experience? That's just how
That's
the
all I can give. I've
yeah,
never
yeah.
studied. Yeah,
No, but
so I
that's
can
just
only
how
give anecdotal
complicated it is
experience.
to collect data from
Extremely
yeah.
complicated.
But it's either works or doesn't. Like so now they're talking about all this. Well, this is like in genetic therapy, whatever, which obviously will never see the light of day in a human because in humans. That's why they do it in mice and marmosets. They say,
Yeah.
"Oh, we did it in primates." Well, marmosets is tiny little monkey, whatever that got nothing to do. Normally you actually do like auditory research with them because they actually vocalize, they actually communicate with one another. Essentially they have extensive vocalization and stuff, so you could study that, whatever. But going from then that, yeah, so a drug that you were probably trialing, being tested in a mouse, prior you taking it, and then what? Because I mean, is there like a good model for what you had? So say you mentioned, what is it, ADHD?
That's one. Yes. There's
Is
getting to be a better model, but it's not quite there yet.
what, like an animal model? Well, you are an animal model for ADHD, whatever. So
In humans,
right.
I've found some people who are very similar, like-minded to me, and they've had their diagnosis change over years. Like you've been saying, we're trying to treat too many things at once. They've gotten better. I've gotten better. I found drugs that do and do not work for me, and trying to narrow that down is very, very
Yeah, so
difficult.
it sounds like on top of the trial that you participated in, you were also like essentially polluting the results by essentially experimenting on yourself with alcohol and other things that
Yes.
you yeah. So you would you by what you just described to me, you should have been like excluded from the trial
So part of the trial
many
was
times over.
part of. I'm probably not explaining this correctly. Part of the trial was taking into account my family's history with alcohol,
Mm,
my family's history with drugs. I don't have the drug history. Well, alcohol is a drug, but that's my one. And then also mental health, which has become very difficult because both of my parents' fathers disappeared, and
right.
I have no information on either of them. So trying to get this data sorted is so difficult. I can just what I've been doing for different trials, not always drug trials, maybe just MRIs over a year or
Mm.
an EKG over a year every month, and providing as much data as I can while giving my personal feelings and anecdotes and trying to find patterns, and it's helping, but we're far, far from discovering cures or
And
just
why
making
your
everything right.
personal anecdotes are like? Why do you think they are relevant? Were you like formally involved in some sort of like questionnaires or?
Yes. Mostly about side effects of drugs that I was given. Do they make you more suicidal? Do they make you less? How does this make you feel? Does this help your attention in staying on task, or does it make you more? Is it like Ritalin, which made me extremely crazy and sent me all over the place? So in a way, I was a human test subject, but I was trying to find answers, and it took a long time, and I'm getting better. But so they want to hear progress, what goes wrong, what goes right, so they can try and adjust and try new things. This was mostly done in.
But what do you expect someone to do? Like you could do like a sentiment analysis or something on your story. But what?
I expect them to learn from me. I don't expect them to cure me.
What do you expect someone to learn from you?
That's what I don't know, and that's what I don't think they know. It's throwing, excuse my language, throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Mm-hmm.
Just let's try this. This didn't work. Why didn't it work for you? Tell me the details. Okay, we knew that. We're seeing a correlation and a problem here. Let's change things, because they'll compare me to thousands of others that are doing the same studies.
So what did you learn from?
I learned what drugs work for me, what don't, prescribed ones. And so I'm down to one for my high blood pressure. That's genetic. We figured that one out, and that works perfectly. The other one is for
Does the drug have side effects?
my blood pressure one. No, has no side effects. Most drugs in my life have had some kind of side effect. This one, none. The new one that I'm trying is for over drinking and overusing, like getting that dopamine hit. What it does is lessens my recovery time, so I don't have those withdrawals and then feel the need to drink again. Tonight's a very bad example.
I'm sure. I'm like 99.9 whatever, 100% sure that the drug that you said that you use for your heart rate stabilization is a placebo. It's a sugar pill. It doesn't have anything. Reason being
It's
that all of these drugs have like
citalopram.
okay, well, but you've been given it in unlabeled.
No, I've been getting it's labeled. It's very by the book here.
I think you're still in the trial. Are you still enrolled in the trial?
No, this is not a trial at all. This is a proven drug.
And no side effects.
No side effects.
What is it called?
I'm going to say it incorrectly. Citalopram. Blood pressure drug.
Is it brand name Celexa? It's an antidepressant.
Yeah, brand name Celexa. No.
It's
oh my god, that's my other one.
It's your other
Hold
one.
on. That's the old one that did give me side effects. Give me 1 second. I'll find this thing.
Crazy. I will have to finish up soon. That was interesting. It's crazy.
Yeah, citalopram and Celexa was the terrible thing. Carvedilol is the blood pressure one that I get no side effects from. Ends in LOL. Carvedilol.
Ends with LOL?
Yeah. beta blocker, high blood pressure, manage heart failure. Yeah, that's the other one I'm on. Sorry, that is the only one with no side effects for me.
How are your lungs? How's breathing?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
My lungs are great.
Yeah. Well, it's directly associated with because it acts as beta 2 receptor, which controls airways. Cardiovascular can cause breathing issues and is generally not recommended for people with asthma or severe lung diseases. Or
I don't
can
have
it
those.
cause? No, but can it cause a lung disease?
For me, so far, no. I have severe seasonal allergies. Where I live, pollen is really, really bad. And so I get allergies from that, but I've never had any problems breathing, no asthma, nothing significant.
Dizziness, lightheadedness, fainting. There's a
Yeah,
whole.
I've never had. Oh yeah, I've never had any of those. That's why it's the only one
well,
that I've never had a
magic
side
happens.
effect.
So that works for you.
So we found the right one for me on that time.
For now, yeah.
Yes, exactly. For now, I have to keep monitoring.
Yeah, what to avoid when taking it? Alcohol.
And they say that for every drug, but yes.
Maybe they work together, and that's why maybe that what cancels.
Alcohol raises
That's
your
what
blood
reduces.
pressure.
Yeah, that's what reduces your awareness. You probably still have the symptoms. You're just not aware of them because you know how much are you drinking.
I am, because I measure them. I take my blood pressure not every day, but every few days, and I have seen. And my doctor has also seen noticed decrease in my blood pressure to where I'm still a little higher than normal, but I'm much better than where I used to be in constant hypertension. So this drug is working for me right now.
I think you didn't have a. It's either you're taking a placebo or you didn't have a problem to begin with. Like you just deluded
I've
into
had
thinking you have like a genetic predisposition for whatever.
You can measure it if you want yourself. I've had high blood pressure since I was a child.
What's high?
Oh God, whatever hypertension, whatever the uh, numbers for that are.
Right.
My mother has it. My father has it. Grandmother had it. It's heart problems are what kills my family most of the time. So hypertension would be 130 over 80 at minimum. I was usually resting around that 130 over 80. BPM usually in the 80s to 90. Is there a bit of a placebo effect? Possibly. When I do take it, I take it every day, and I remind myself to relax and calm down. I even have part of my daily routine to meditate, whether that's yoga or just quiet calmness, close your eyes, peace, no distractions, that kind of thing. So it's a mix of those. Exercise as well definitely helps. Eating right, less red meat, no more McDonald's, those kind of things.
But you're still drinking.
That is my final vice.
Final is the last thing you will do at life.
It's the last thing I have that I hang on to that keeps me from being 100% sober.
Right.
It's the hardest one to break. But I've done a good job over the last few years. Not perfect, but I quit smoking a decade ago. I quit all other drugs over a decade ago. I don't even drink caffeine at this point. This is what I have left.
Right. Well, yeah.
I do envy people who can go. Well, I don't think Even the people I know that are sober, they're like, "Oh yeah, but I still take edibles for THC or smoke weed," or "Oh yeah, but I'm on like 4 cups of coffee a day." I can't, I don't. What are the one that my body chose is one of the more destructive. But anyone who can just stay off of any altering substance, I can't understand. Because if I didn't have this, I'd need caffeine. I hate caffeine. Talk about raising blood pressure.
Right. Yeah, interesting. But yeah, we
Yeah.
probably should do something on like, you can't do anything about it. There's a lot of like comorbidities and things. Like, yeah, the fact that you are like drinking, then it's like it cancels out the effect of the drug, whatever. You can't actually test it. You're saying
Yeah.
you're like testing it by measuring your blood pressure, whatever. It's
So I would get when I was in testing and I didn't trial the drug. This was already an established one for blood pressure when I first got it, but they did tell me no drinking for this amount of time before you even start it, and I had to do that, and that sucked for me. I did not have a good time, but I did it because I was told to. And then we saw results, and then continued with it, and then life goes on, and then I had a drink again.
right.
Uh, yeah. And there's no way you can take any of my data and get anything solid from it from what I've
Well,
given you.
exactly.
But
That's what
yeah,
I keep thinking about. That there's nothing in like what you said. If you were like filling a bunch of questionnaires, they'll just go like, outlier, outlier, out, or
yeah. Well, in
back
those
back to the
questionnaire,
manufacturers.
the ones that I went through in those questionnaires, they would specifically ask you about those things so they can see what the outliers are. Because no, I've never found anyone to be a perfect patient uh, that does every single thing their doctor says for any study or just even for their own general health. I've never seen anyone be able to do that. Uh, so you have to ask those questions. You have to find out, well, what could be causing this? You're never going to have a perfect patient, I guess, ever. And so all I can do is tell the truth and be completely honest with doctors whenever I have taken a test. If they command me, like, don't do this for 2 weeks, don't do this for 24 hours, uh, but then tell me after we've done this thing, tell me everything you've done, alcohol related, drug related, exercise related, mental state. What has that been? Did your cat get sick? Uh, how did that affect you? It's trying to measure all these things that are going to screw up other results. And so it's never going to be perfect, but we can keep trying to get as close as we can. And I like to help wherever I can, and I'll put all my flaws on paper for them.
yeah, I'll finish up this one. So I'll have to later remember to remove that conversation from public domain, but not because the person asked, but yeah, they had a few drinks, so who knows. Later, if they would be comfortable with that recording being in the public domain or not, to just delete it later on. Just better thing to do. But yeah, yeah, but I have this video trending at the moment. I don't know why. Hopefully, it's trending for the right reasons. But yeah. It's actually about the tool. This webcam heart rate recording, so that's good. Yeah, if anyone has any questions about it, we're more than happy to take those. Probably next time we are live. And I'll see you next time.